Hello, filmers, and welcome to another Flicks Done Quick. And in this Flicks Done Quick, I'm going to be doing a review of House of Cards Season 3. And so House of Cards Season 3 picks up right where Season 2 left off. Frank Underwood is now the president, and basically the majority of the season is kind of like Frank being on the defensive rather than the offensive, and I think that's what makes this season really interesting compared to the other two. The other two is mostly like Frank being like a behind the scenes, like devious, like, on the offense kind of snaky character. So now that he's like, everyone's got the eyes on the president, so now that he's the president and everyone like is aware that he's kind of a fucker, most people just like hate the shit out of him. So like the majority of season 3 is just Frank on the defensive, and I think it's really well done. It's kind of like a tone shift kind of thing. Another thing that season 3 does is at the end of season 2, Doug gets fucking beaten to hell in the forest by Rachel. And so like a majority of season 3 is him basically just kind of like melting down and completely falling apart, and then like barely hanging on, and by the end, like, he's back to where he was in season 1 and 2. Which is another thing that made season 3 a little bit more interesting, because Frank is on the defensive and a major character is just like, Doug still has like a shitload of screen time, but he's nowhere near the president for a majority of the season. So like it's very interesting because like, like he tries to like kind of purport himself to be like kind of like a glue in the Underwood administration, and it's pretty well done how they made things look like they're falling apart without him. One other thing is the Democratic primary like challenger for like the latter half of season 3 is actually like really good. I really like the dynamic of like the ultra progressive person running against like the cringe corporate like loser Democrat. I think it's pretty good, especially given the actual 2016 primaries. It's just pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, season 3 is really good. Like, it's not as good as the first season, but I would say it's probably on par with the second season. I like the tone shift. I like character progression. The characters are all really good. Season 3's ending is also pretty fucking good. Like, where Claire is just like, I'm leaving you, and then Frank is like, just kind of like shocked and like, has like such a good face. Like, I love the end of season 3. It's like, it's really good. Like, he just gets completely destroyed, and I appreciate it a lot. Claire in this season is actually, like... Claire in this season's pretty... For the most part, I like Claire a little bit more than in the other ones. She's a lot more human in these, and she's, like, a lot nicer, and, like, a lot more justified, and a lot more, like, correct on a lot of the issues. And, like, definitely has signs of, like, the abused wife kind of scenario going on, which is, like, very obvious given, like, Frank's a terrible person. So, like, I think I start to like Claire in season 3 more than the other seasons, just because she's more independent and more progressive and, like, trying to, like, make sure that she gets more power than just, like, having Frank have all the power, that kind of stuff. And there's also some stuff, with, like, international affairs. So you have, like, Russia and the Middle East take part in relevancy for the season, which is pretty cool. Seeing all that stuff kind of happen. Another character that introduced in season 3 is Tom Yates, who I can't stand this fucking character. Every time he speaks, it just hurts my ears for some reason. So, like, I can't stand Tom Yates. And, yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know what else to talk about. Season 3 is just as good as Season 2, which is slightly, very, very slightly. Like, if I were to, like, place numbers, I don't like placing numbers on things, but if I were to say, like, Season 1's, like, a 5, right? Season 2 and 3 would be, like, a 4.8 in comparison. So, like, very slightly, but noticeable, like, quality drop, but not, a tremendous one. Like, it's still really, really good. So season 4 is next, and I'll see you next time.